Good morning, and thank you for tuning in to another installment of On This Day. Today is Friday, October 17th, 2025. I'm Christy, and I'll be taking you on this journey to the past, the present, the strange, and possibly other dimensions. Keep your hands and legs inside the ride at all times, and let's get this party started. This being Friday, we recap what we talked about on Monday and Wednesday, and we also learned some new stuff about today. On Monday, in 2016, Bob Dylan became the first songwriter to receive a Nobel Prize in Literature, and although some didn't approve, the Swedish Academy stood by their decision. The 57-year-old told the Telegraph that he was humbled and it felt amazing. In 1974, beloved TV host Ed Sullivan died at the age of 73. The show ran from 1948 to 1974. He was instrumental in bringing and promoting many of the world's largest acts, including the Elvis, the Jackson 5, the Supremes, and the Beatles. He also broke racial barriers at a time when black artists weren't being booked at national platforms. And so he started booking Bo Diddley, Fats Domino, and Jackie Wilson. In 1965, the Beatles made their debut on the UK's London Palladium as the headlining act. The act was televised by over 15,000 viewers. And in 2000, The Who recorded their iconic hit, My Generation, at Pye Studios in London. The song, which served as their title track to their 1965 debut album, was one of the highest charting singles in the UK at number 2. Factoids. It was No Bra Day and Train Your Brain Day. And if you want to know what I said about that, take a look back at it Monday. In 2010, all 33 miners of the Chilean mine collapse were saved and rescued after being trapped underground for 69 days. In 2023, Microsoft purchased Activision Blizzard for an astounding $69 billion in a takeover. In 2018, 115,000-year-old human bones were found. What turned out to be of a Neanderthal child was found inside. Let me try that again. In 2018, 1,000-year, the bones of what turned out to be a Neanderthal child eaten by a bird. I have questions. Anybody else have questions about that? First off, how do they know that he was eaten by a giant bird? Were they found in his, wrapped around I don't even know. I got questions, like I said. Anywho, in 1983, cellular mobile service became made available by the American public, or to the American public. Jesus. In 1960, the U.S. government began their trade embargo against Cuba. Most exports were halted except for medicine and basic food needs. And in 1914, the safety hood was patented by Garrett Morgan and was told to help firefighters go into places with poisonous gases and thick smoke. And it turned out later into the gas mask. On Wednesday in music history, 1956, Little Richard recorded Good Golly Miss Molly at New Orleans J&M Studios, and featured Richard's sophomore album. The song was written by John Mariscalco and producer Robert Bumps Blackwell. He then gave it to a group called the Valiants, but due to Richard's over-the-top vocals and charismatic performance, Richard made the song a rock and roll standard. It would later be covered by such acts as Jerry Lee Lewis, Creedence Clearwater Revival, and Mitch Ryder and their Detroit Wheels, among others. In 1955, Buddy Holly had his big break when he opened for Elvis at the Cotton Club's Big D Jamboree in Lubbock, Texas. There was a national-based talent scout in the audience who was so impressed that he invited Holly back to the record to record some demos for Decca Records. Bleh. In 2006, the Sugar Babies were named the most successful UK band, all-female act of the 21st century, beating out the likes of Madonna and Britney Spears with 16 hits. They busted records 4 years earlier for being the youngest female group to top the UK pop charts with Freak Like Me. In 1988, Bon Jovi began a 4-week run at the top of the Billboard 200 with New Jersey. Their fourth studio album produced 5 top 10 singles, breaking a record for the most top 10 hits from a glam band. In 1977, Debbie Boone began a record-breaking 10-week run at the top of the Billboard Hot 100 with You Light Up My Life. At the time, it marked the longest stay at the top of the pop charts, breaking a record. Lastly, in 2014, frontman Bono apologized after their latest album was released to every iTunes user around the world without their permission. He stated it was a bit of megalomania and a touch of generosity. An iTunes user complained that they didn't permit this and it wasn't clear how to delete it. On Wednesday, factoids, it was official Global Hand Washing Day and Grouch Day. Also, in 1924, the Statue of Liberty's fingers were finally fully attached around the torch that she holds. It was 2 weeks later that she was unveiled and shown to the public. In 2011, the world's largest Legoland opened in Winter Haven, Florida. In 2001, NASA's Galileo spacecraft skimmed by Jupiter's moon, low, at just 122 miles or 180 kilometers. In 1972, tennis player Chris Evert won the first WTA Tour Championship in Florida. But because of her age, 17, she was not given the $25,000 cash prize because she was only 17. So if she wasn't allowed the prize because of her age, then she shouldn't have been allowed to compete. But that's just my opinion. In 1952, Charlotte's Web was published by E.B. White. In 1940, Charlie Chaplin's satire comedy The Great Dictator was released in the U.S. In 1937, Ernest Hemingway's To Have and to Have Not was published in the U.S. Now, let's get into some more fun stuff about today, October 17th. Today in Music History 2017, Canadian rock icon Gord Downie died at age 53 following a 2-year bout with brain cancer. In addition to a successful solo career, Downey in addition to a successful solo career, Downey served as a longtime frontman of the Tragically Hip, one of the most celebrated acts in Canada. During their 30-year run, the band released 13 studio albums, 9 of which reached number 1 on the Canadian charts and won a staggering 17 Juno Awards. In the year preceding his death, the group embarked on a farewell tour, playing a nationally broadcasted final show on August 20th, 2016. After his passing, he was widely mourned across Canada. From a press conference held by Prime Minister Justin Trudeau to a moment of silence before a Toronto Maple Leafs game. In 1987, the Bee Gees became the only group to have a UK's number 1 hit in each of 3 decades, the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s. When you... oh, God. Okay. In 1987, the Bee Gees became the only group to have a UK number 1 hit in each of the 3 decades, the 60s, the 70s, and 80s. When You Win Again went to number 1 on the UK singles charts, the vocal act began their streak in the 60s with Massachusetts and I've got to get a message to you. In the 70s, they topped the charts with Night Fever and Tragedy, while You Win Again marked the group's 5th and final number 1. Okay. In 1970, the Jackson 5 began a 5-week run at the top of the Billboard Hot 100 with I'll Be There. The ballad was the most successful single ever released by the siblings, selling over 4 million copies in the U.S. and over 6 million worldwide. Additionally, the track replaced Marvin Gaye's I Heard It Through the Grapevine as the most successful single released by Motown Records in the U.S. In 2008, Four Top singer Levi Stubbs died at age 72 in his hometown of Detroit. With the legendary vocal group, Stubbs recorded 20 top 40 hits and was later inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Some factoids for today. It's officially Spreadsheet Day and National Edge Day. Not sure what National Edge Day is. In 1990, though, IMDb, the Internet Movie Database, was founded. It started as a personal list of films that the founder, Cal Needham, had seen in the last 10 years. 2019, Lana Del Rey's song Video Games was named Song of the Decade at the Q Awards in London. Upon accepting the award, she said, "I'm so honored. This is unreal." In 2008, Iran attempted to create the world's largest sandwich at 1,500 meters long, but failed due to a crowd eating it before it was measured. Over 1,000 people gathered to put it together in Tehran in hopes of making it into the World Record books. The Guinness World Book of Records. Duh. In 2006, the U.S. population reached 300 million people. When the U.S. reached 200 million in 1967, one of them was me. Some believed that 300 million people in the U.S. would threaten the quality of life in America. And in 1979, the Nobel Peace Prize was awarded to humanitarian Mother Teresa. On to trivia. Question 2009. This song by the Black Eyed Peas was nominated as Song of the Year during the 2009 World Music Awards. What was it? Answer? I got a feeling. Question. Comedian Jack Black is also a singer for which band? Answer? Tenacious D. Question. The Origin of Species was written by which author? Answer? Charles Darwin. Birthdays. Rico Rodriguez, 1934. Jim Seals, 1941. Jim Tucker, 1946. Alan Jackson, 1958. Renee Diff, 1967. Ziggy Marley, 1968. Wycliffe Jean, 1972. Eminem, 1972. And Chris Kirkpatrick, 1977. I hope you all have a safe weekend and you have a good time. And I hope to see you on Monday. Don't forget, you can check us out 7 days a week. We're here 7 days a week at WCDI with Brian the Rock Stone. And don't forget to check out the Top Rope Report on every Sunday and Wednesday. See you soon. Ciao.